Hello there. I had to skip another day yesterday because I was a bit preoccupied with some other tasks that I had. Today I felt like I didn't really want to do it, but I forced myself to go with it because otherwise I was afraid that I'm gonna slack too much and I'm gonna drop off the habit that I want to form. So consistency is the key in this and forming a habit out of it, basically, even when it comes hard. So I think the key part is to keep pushing, especially in these days and situations where I feel like maybe I should skip it. After all, I can help with days where I'm too busy with other stuff, but today was not one of those days, and I have to be honest with myself and move forward. One more disclaimer: the next few days I'm gonna be out of town, so I won't be able to upload. The upside for chess in this scenario is that I'm gonna be able to participate in a tournament, a physical one, in the town that I'm gonna be in. So well, wish me luck. I'm a little bit worried what rating those people in the tournament will be because I do not know yet if it's going to be a beginner tournament. It's going to be a free for all tournament, like anyone can participate. Well, I'm sure I'll be able to put in practice everything that I've learned so far. Even in this game, I don't like spoilers too much, but one thing I can say is that in this game, I was able to put into practice at least two things that I've learned until today, and they served me well. I was far more decisive in certain moves, but I think by the end of it, it's going to become a little bit clear that I still need to learn a lot about how to end a game. Well, that's enough with the spoilers. Let's see how it went. The beginning is pretty normal, I would say. Nothing fantastic. He goes with the development here. I'm not really sure why. Probably wanted to extend his queen in this direction, maybe. I'm not sure. Here, I suppose that he doesn't want me to be overly aggressive with the bishop or with the horse. It's pretty good defensive move. Um, I decide to try and develop my mid side. He decides to be aggressive with his bishop. Here I'm moving to deflect it, hoping that he's not going to eat the horse, but he actually does it. I'm not sure exactly why, but I take point here. He proceeds to move another pawn here, which is probably a good move. I'm gonna look a bit later to see on analysis if it's considered a mistake or not. Probably to block my movement with the horse. He's pretty secluded here. He can't move either way, so he can only go defensively, which is not gonna help me develop too much, honestly. But I decided it's not really a threat right now, except that I don't want him to move further into the middle of my board. If anything, I want to keep my half of the board protected, and I want to launch incursions in his territory, not the other way around. This move allows me to block his pressure on the pawn. Then he moves in with his horse so he can develop the piece. I decide to castle so I don't worry about the king anymore. He moves to do basically the same. He wants to mirror my castle. And right here, I decided I want to have a stronger presence on the board because he can push here pretty easily and win material. Here I realized that he wants to free his rook, but then I realized that it's not that bad. Here I had if I would have took the pawn here, he could have taken it with a rook, and then he would be more free in this area to develop, or whether he could use the queen to come here. And I didn't really like this prospect, so I move in with the bishop so I can protect the tower after the exchange will be made, because exactly this is what happens here. Then I take the pawn as the horse is threatened. Obviously, he's gonna take the rook. Then I take it back. And for me, it was really important what he plans to do from here. I really couldn't estimate exactly what he's going to do, but he decides to end the castle right now. I would have done it differently, but I suppose it's not, it doesn't change as much. Here I decided to move the horse back because honestly, I was kind of trying to find a way to go to the king, and I was like, yeah, if I somehow manage to clear this path, then I want a clearer view to take a shot at the king. Even though right now I don't know exactly how I'm going to do it, but I need more clear view. If you thought that this like it's a move for anything else, well, that's just a coincidence. I didn't plan that much. Over here, he serves me a pawn on the table basically, so I freely take it. As I didn't see why I shouldn't take the free table that I'm getting. Now, I was thinking that if it wasn't for the horse and the queen protecting these sides, I could have just went somewhere here and take more material and take like pawn. But I decide that this pawn is free. Probably that's why the bar of score, let's call it. Bar of power is not really the right term, or maybe it would be. Anyway, um, his move allowed me to take a free pawn right here, uncontested, unchallenged. He moves to threaten my queen, and here I was a bit in a pinch. I was like, hmm, if it was the old me before I had all those games, I would try to play it risky and bold and be like, yeah, I'm gonna move somewhere maybe here and then have another move here so I can threaten this one and then maybe with the horse go somewhere like here and then give a checkmate in like 5 moves or something. But I realized that if I do this, it's a lot of ifs, and then there are a lot of ways that he can trap my queen or put it in a pinch. And here is really not a place that I want my queen to be at. There's literally almost no place to run, and he can just push the pawns in a strategic way to force my queen in an enclosure or just trap it there. And I didn't like the prospect of that. So I decided to learn from the previous games and decided to be more careful of where I move and go in places that are obviously safer. So I decided to play it back here and also threaten a pawn because just making a free move isn't gonna get me the win, right? He does here an I think it was a mistake from his part. Definitely, first thing that I thought right now was this one, but obviously it's a loss on my end. But the key the key move that I realized I have right here. Otherwise, probably I wouldn't have noticed. If he didn't move the pawn here, I wouldn't have looked on the same line and then get the chance to remember that there was a game in the past where I could have done a fork. And right now, I remembered it and I put it in practice. And now you're in a fork. I finally got to use the move that I saw in the past and analyze it. And I was pretty glad I was able to do it. He chooses to eat the pawn, so he can at least get one material. I get the bishop for almost free, um, 3 points for a pawn. Then he moves to threaten my queen. Honestly, I would have done this as well in the past. Now on here, really, um, I think this is pretty obvious. It's gonna what's gonna follow. Here, honestly, if I was him, then I would have tried to find a way to protect the pawn. He decides to do it, and he actually finds it a really neat way to do it. He threatens both my queen and protects the pawn. I pondered if I should give the bishop for the horse because I would win a pawn in the end. But in the end, I realized that it's better to move here, threaten the horse, threaten the pawn, and then threaten maybe falsely the rook. If he moves the queen erratically, like let's say if he moves the queen here. But yeah, no, I was just more like I'm gonna move the bishop here and double threaten the rook. And then if he decided to move the rook here, then I would have the bishop here to threaten the rook. He would be forced to take it and would be the same thing that I did in the past. I'm not sure why he thought this is gonna help him because he left the horse unprotected. There are many moves that he could have done, including this one, I think. Yeah, so I just took the free horse. I mean, thanks for the meal, I suppose. Not to sound arrogant or anything, but when you're served the dish, can you really say no? After you're hungry. Yeah, I think chess is a lot about this. Are you hungry for a win or not? He then throws the pawn, and to be honest, at this point, I think I recognize myself a bit in this kind of behavior. Is basically I get fed up with the game. I thought I was much better than what the game proved to be. And then I start doing mistakes, like what was with this one. Maybe he had a plan. Maybe he threatens the pawn. I take him. Then he's able to turn somehow the game by coming here or here and giving a chess, and then some other move that he probably saw like five or six move, trying to see, thinking he sees it ahead. Or maybe I'm just deliberating. Maybe I'm just seeing scenarios that are not there, but still, and then seeing that um, I lost a piece right here with the horse. I'm throwing the pawn. That's basically my guess. And here I really had to choose between eating the pawn or taking the free horse because, as you can see, it's free. But then I realized that if I'm taking the horse, then he can take the pawn here, and then I have to chase to get here, like to chase the pawn. But then he can move the queen. I would have ate the queen. He got the queen. Then I would have had to probably go with the bishop here to stop the pawn from moving. And now I have a bishop trapped in there, and probably had to do some extra moves in that way. And I was like, yeah, I don't want to complicate myself with that. I will take the pawn right now, and whatever he's going to do with the horse is not dangerous. He can go back. I'm still winning in materials. So let's not try to make my life harder by doing that. Here he moves to threaten the queen. I decide to move the queen here, to also take the horse, and in case, I don't know, there is some development that allows me to move the bishop and threaten the queen, but more so for the horse I did this move. He decides to go for the pawn here. I decide to eat it. He checks. I decide to counter with the bishop and threaten the queen. He moves the queen in defense. Here, I was thinking that maybe there is a better strategy to try and maybe win the game without sacrificing the queen, because he's obviously threatening to take the queen. If I take the queen, it's protected by the rook. I thought that I could check him, but then he will take me for free with the queen. There was really no one move that I could do to check the king and then go for the win from there. Probably I could have done like more movements here, but then I looked at the score and I saw time like plus 10 in advance. So I was like, yeah, sure, I can train my queen for yours. Because from here on it's just my field. There's no way you can win. Probably the queen gave him the last advantage he had, and if you wanted to trade it, then I'm free to do so. I have far more material than he does. I proceed to check him. Then I give him a check again. First, I was a little bit moronic, I think, because I thought it's gonna be checkmate, but obviously he can move the pawn here. Then I see it, and I'm like, what am I gonna do from here? And then I decide to move the horse and bring some additions to the playfield with a horse. And here, from here on, starts sort of a chase to end the game. Yeah, he helped me a lot with his mistake because now I can check him. He moves there. Okay, mate in 4 seems I'm following the pattern. Why I'm saying that I'm struggling here is because here I can't see the moves that I need to do in order to completely win the game. I know I have advantage here and I'm trying to move towards that path, but I don't have a clear way. Like I don't see, like the game says here, I don't see that mate in the four moves. Seems like that move didn't help, for example. Now I'm prolonging the mate. Okay, now I'm back on track, as you can see. I move. Okay, now I went to 9, so that's kind of bad. And here he chose to resign because I knew that he basically that there's almost nothing that he can do to stop me from continuously checking him into a position where I can finally see the end game. And maybe in this particular case, it's not really that important because I was already leading. But there will come a day when I'm not gonna be in such a lead, and I need to see the end game. I need to picture it and also effectively seal the deal. Why I'm saying that here he couldn't protect himself with anything is because if he tried to get the bishop, for example, then I'll take the rook, and then I'm just free to play with him however he wants. So literally here is just trading a lesser material for a bigger one, gaining an even bigger advantage. So here I think I won fairly. He did help me with some of his mistakes, but it wasn't a massive blunder on his part or anything. I just think that I did no, this is the game as far as it can tell me that I didn't do any mistake. And this one is seen as a brilliant move. I think it's just the AI is just complimenting me for learning about it. Well, see you again soon. I'm gonna be looking forward to the contest I'm gonna participate in and the tournament. And if it's gonna be exciting, I'm gonna tell you about it. If not, well, probably I'll tell you about it as well. Well, see you.